And in the Impact segment tonight, as you may know, Republican Karl Rove runs an organization called American Crossroads, which helps GOP candidates. Here's their latest ad.
Secretary of State Hillary Clinton is briefed at 2 a.m. by the ambassador's deputy that it was, in fact, terrorism.
I briefed her on developments.
Yet 2 days later, Secretary Clinton and others blamed protesters and
an awful internet video that we had nothing to do with.
What difference at this point does it make?
the difference is a cover-up and 4 American lives that deserve the truth.
But that advertisement isn't sitting well with some conservatives.
I do not like these conservative Republican groups putting ads up about Hillary Clinton. What is the point of that? That is just fundraising by American Crossroads and these other groups. It's ridiculous. There's no campaign going on.
Joining us now from Austin, Texas, to reply is Karl Rove. And you say?
Well, I agree with Bill. It's not a campaign. First of all, let me say I have great respect for Bill Kristol and the work of the Weekly Standard. I've got a lot of friends who write for the Standard. It does great work. In fact, Stephen Hayes has done great journalism on this particular issue. This is our 6th video from Crossroads, which incidentally, Bill, I don't run. I'm a supporter of it. I helped organize it, but I'm not an officer of it. But this video is the 6th video that we've run on the issue of Benghazi in an attempt to make it clear what the links are. Last week we had this very compelling testimony from Greg Hicks, and this video, as you saw, in a very sober, low-key fashion, puts that testimony in context with Hillary Clinton's comments made a couple of days later that this was all a video. At 2 a.m. in the morning of September 11th, the morning of September 12th, Hicks briefs Hillary Clinton, tells her it's an act of terrorism, and 2 days later she is saying it's a video that we didn't have anything to do with.
Didn't believe him or wanted to do something else. But Kristol's point is that you're politicizing, your group is politicizing the situation when that doesn't help. What everybody wants is to get the truth of the matter, and once all the truth gets out, then you can go and develop these kinds of ads, but you jump in the gun.
Well, now, look, this is a part of the process. This is like a visual news release, if you will, to help people connect the dots. And we've been doing this for months.
But
and
why
it's part
are
of the
you
process.
doing it? What is the end game?
Our object in putting these out is to help draw attention to it, particularly among the mainstream media, to cause people to ask tough questions. Look, the president is dismissing this as a sideshow. The Democrats have said any criticism of the president on this is politics. You know, I just don't see how it does any good to fall in line with the Democrats and say any criticism of the president is somehow politicizing
but
this.
You know, you're giving the president an argument, and he has made it on a number of occasions, and also Secretary Clinton has made it, that this is all politics. It's all being driven by conservatives and right-wingers who want to hurt Obama, and they want to hurt Clinton.
Bill, they've been saying that for months every time they've been criticized by somebody on the right. And look what's happened now. We now have a wide variety of people, including you quoted Tom Brokaw, saying, you know, the White House has no more credibility on this issue. So we should not be afraid of the White House simply saying, oh, to stop being political when they're criticized, because they're going to say it each and every time. You saw it today in the president. The president today in this news conference called these complaints about the lack of veracity on the part of the administration a sideshow. And what we have here is the White House and the State Department, unnamed people in the White House and the State Department, collaborated to mislead the American people, and this went straight into the White House because the decision to excise all of the CIA comments about this being an act of terrorism was made on a Saturday morning in a White House meeting hosted by the National Security Council, and the American people deserve to know who was responsible for perpetuating this lie.
Okay.
It was not.
And I
look,
agree.
It's not
I want
these
to know
low-level.
who's responsible as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't it true, though, and you got to come on, you got to be honest here, that for your group and the Republican Party, if you can diminish Hillary Clinton, who is far and away likely to be the Democratic nominee for president in 2016, it's better for you guys to do it?
Look, I think it is, the focus of this is on Barack Obama and his administration, of which she was a part. The question that's posed by that video that you just showed is, who misled the American people. 4 people died, and we were told a lie about what caused it. Remember, this happens at the highest levels of the administration. Could you imagine what would happen if it was the Bush administration that excised CIA talking points about it being an act of terrorism and sent our U.S. ambassador to the UN to appear on 5 Sunday morning talk programs to tell people a flat-out lie about how an American ambassador had come to be killed?
Do you? I don't think Bolton would.
No, he wouldn't have. He wouldn't have. And that's the question.
And I want Rice
who
to
got
explain.
Susan Rice to do it?
All Congress has to do is drag Rice in. Say, who told you to do this? That's all. Is that hard? Let's see it.
And you'll notice, like Victoria Nuland, the State Department spokeswoman,
yes, spokesperson for Hillary.
Yes, has already said, I had nothing to do with briefing Susan Rice, as does Jake Sullivan, who's now Vice President Joe Biden's foreign policy guy and was at the State Department at the time. So everybody's running from their responsibility.
Let Rice tell the world who told her to do it, period.